This is a certified hood classic.
Another one.
Hey now.
Wait a minute. Whose birthday
is it?
I don't know if anybody's birthday.
Oh, well.
All rise, order and accord. We're all going to be cannibals today. Meet.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything quite like that on the menu for us, but we'll go ahead and start the show by telling people there's going to be some really gut-wrenching things talked about here today.
Oh, good.
So if you come here to get cheered up, this might be the wrong place.
Oh,
no.
Lovely.
But if you enjoy court and intriguing cases, this is the place for that. I know there's a lot of new people that have joined the channel over the weekend. This is one of the two shows we will be doing on the channels. If you're watching on Credence and Mikey, we react to things during these two shows, but then you'll get all the other episodes without us. And over on We Got a Case, this is the one show you'll get over there that is just me and Creed. But over on We Got a Case, you also receive this without us. So you get the best of both worlds.
Sweet. Let's jump into it.
State your name.
Virgil Brown III. Virgil Dan Brown III.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
People versus Virgil Dan Brown III. Counsel.
The third.
Good morning, Your Honor, or good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava on behalf of Mr. Brown, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to waive the formal reading.
Thank you, counsel. Court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. I'll hear your argument as to bond.
It's got fleas.
Judge, understanding that this, is a life offense, I'm just asking that Your Honor would consider cash bond, specifically a 10% bond in some type of tether to a mental health facility. He does have some mental health diagnoses and that have gone untreated for a while now. So I mean that's our request. He has no prior criminal record that we know of, not currently on probation or parole. Does fall within the 200% guideline, so any amount of bond would be unaffordable for him. I'd also ask that Your Honor mark his file medical, and I wanted the court to know, and I think you know this based on the report, he did turn himself in.
Thank you. DDC, please mark the file medical.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown purportedly went to the police after murdering his girlfriend and his son.
Oh!
Purportedly confessing to murdering her, shooting her in the head.
Oh, my God.
That bullet then passing through to his child, who is now likely to be paralyzed for life. 3-year-old.
Jesus Christ.
There were witnesses who saw him present, standing over the body of the girlfriend, and then saw him running away. All of this purportedly, resulting from an argument that started in the home.
Oh, man.
Mental health aside, that's
the kind of thing that is absolutely dangerous to our community. People who are making very, split second bad decisions that have resulted in the death of one person and paralysis of another, of an innocent child. Remand is available here. I think it's appropriate. Mr. Brown is remanded.
No, he should never set foot anywhere as a free man.
It will be June 10th at 8:30 a.m. for probable cause conference. June 17th, 8:45 p.m. for preliminary examination. Both in front of Judge King. Thank you.
Good God.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge King will let him have it.
Well, that's a hell of a way to start a week.
Man.
William Lawrence Jr.
Mr. Lynch, is that your name?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. People versus William Lynch Jr. Counsel.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Lynch, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived, enters a not guilty plea.
Please just to
On
be
your
a
client's
theft or
behalf,
something.
Argument is
Judge,
to
I'm
bond.
asking. Thank you. Judge, I am asking for I'm asking for a high personal bond, if not a 10% bond. If this court would be inclined to do a personal bond with the GPS tether, I'd request that. Understanding the seriousness of the charges, he is a lifelong resident, 6 children. He is working at Amazon, so I would ask for a provision, if Your Honor imposed a tether, that he be allowed to work. Does fall within the 200% guidelines, as at this point, there's no amount of bond he can afford to pay. For what we know, he has no assaultive felonies on his record, and I believe just one assaultive crime that he's been convicted of. And I believe those are from 2017, from what I can see.
Thank you. I've got a 2019 of attempt.
I talk about Bruno. Thank you. First $2 of the week, by the way. Appreciate
Never
it.
forget your first.
That's right. Detroit. Bringing it today. My God.
CW, attempt carrying concealed weapon, which is usually a plead down. Then I've got a 2017 domestic violence. In this case, Mr. Lynch, according to the investigator's report, the officers responded to a domestic violence call. When they got there, they asked Mr. Lynch's partner, domestic partner in whatever capacity, asked her to take her dog inside. She goes into the house and they hear a gunshot while she's alone in the house with Mr. Lynch, apparently.
Are you kidding me?
And then she comes out and says that he fired at her, that he fired a shot at her.
Oh,
Mister.
And they hear the shot. She
I
also reported that he had hit her repeatedly with a baseball bat.
Oh my God.
You know,
Yikes.
I don't make the charges. You know, I don't decide what to charge someone with, but here I have a lot of concern for the complainant's safety, given what is detailed in the investigator's report, given the fact that the gunshot was heard by police.
Sounds
Mr. Lynch
valid.
then purportedly refused to come out, causing them to declare a barricaded gunman situation, and then they eventually located him in a closet in the house.
Oh,
All of this
geez.
suggesting extreme risk to the complainant, extreme risk to the community, and flight risk. For that reason, bond is set at $500,000 cash, no surety.
There you go. There you go.
Bond review will be June the 4th.
We're cutting through it.
In front of Meconico. After that, June 10th at 8:30 a.m. for probable cause conference, June 17th at 8:45 a.m. for preliminary examination, the latter 2 dates in front of Judge King.
Is that the one that we used to watch so they didn't trip over the wire? Shirtless Dad, remember the wires? Remember that courtroom with the
That was a gem. I mean, a gem. I hope they do come back.
That would make me so happy. Just about as happy as seeing Christopher, known giver. One to the main channel. Thank you, my friend.
Crispy. Thank you, my
Wait.
friend.
Dono Express. You dated who? This dude down here? Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
To imagine. Tim.
Good.
If he's able to make the bond, GPS tether, home confinement,
No way he's making that
no
bond.
weapons, he's not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of this bond. And there is to be no contact with the complainant or where the address at which this is alleged to have occurred.
Amazon ain't paying that good.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, that is. Oh, I do hope they come back. That would be fantastic.
He was stone faced all through that, man. That dude stone
Yeah.
cold.
I for a second thought that he shot the dog while she went inside.
I did too. I did too.
Casey Carey, thank you and hello.
Ray Green.
What a stash.
I loved his way he just appeared, though. I think that's good.
Green. Sorry. 1 moment. What
Please,
did you say your name is?
please be a dumb charge.
Green.
Green.
Pleasant Green.
I have this file. Oh, there it is.
Al Green.
Yeah, okay. I found it. Thank you. All right. People versus Array Green Council.
Good morning or good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Green, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and wait for formal reading.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived.
Good
Enters
for
a
him.
not
He
guilty plea on your
deserves
client's
it.
behalf. I will hear your arguments as to bond.
Judge, so I am requesting a personal bond in this case. It looks like he was arraigned recently on a CCW, given a personal bond with the GPS tether. So I just asked for the same here, a personal bond with the GPS tether. Sounds like this was something that happened with a CO at DDC where he was refusing to be removed from the cell and assaulted the officer. I believe once he's released on a personal bond with the GPS tether, he will no longer have contact with any of the officers there. I'm not objecting to a house arrest. It doesn't look like he would still have his job at McDonald's anymore. He does fall within the 200% guidelines.
Oh,
So I am
mad
asking
at
for a
me.
personal because he cannot afford to make any amount of bond.
Thank you. One moment, please.
Ruined the man's career at McDonald's. I don't think he'll have any more contact with corrections officers at home.
Good point.
Good idea. I don't think he will either. You're looking like a young Danny Glover. Riggs, we got to do something. 2 days away from retirement.
Excuse me.
Yes. Anything? No.
You want to advise your client he's trying to speak?
Might have just farted.
Mr. Green, I would advise that you not speak. I've made the argument so we can try to get you a personal bond. This is being recorded, so I don't want you to say anything that might harm you. And if you get your opportunity to fight these allegations, but today is just about violence.
Or Amazon.
You said he's on a personal bond with Tether in his other case.
Yes.
This is alleged to have occurred at the DDC, which means it's pretty quickly after someone has gotten taken into custody and is attempting to adjust to that. Some indication that there was threats from other inmates that were being trying to be dealt with. So, I will treat this as an anomaly having occurred under special circumstances in a special kind of location. Bond is set here at $150,000 personal.
Oh my God.
Wow. Okay.
It's high, but it's a personal. It's a very high personal
And with
bond.
the complainants.
Jeez.
Listen, you go after those other two.
Well, I'm not going to do that because if he's taken back into custody, I can't control whether or not he's in contact with them. $150,000 personal bond. Next court date, June 10th for probable cause conference at 8:30 a.m. June 17th for preliminary examination at 8:45 a.m. Both in front of Judge Jefferson. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm not gonna lie. I had breakfast from Wendy's the other day, and it was horrid.
Was it? I've never had breakfast.
Garbage. Terrible.
Hello. Hi, Amy.
Good to see you, Amy.
Hello.
Stand on the black line, state your full name.
Nathaniel Boyston Jr.
Ooh. What happened to his head?
Is that a birthmark or?
People versus Nathaniel Boydston Jr. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay.
I think it works
Good
at
afternoon, Your Honor.
Wingfellas.
Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Boyston, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Maybe.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf.
Amen.
Argument as to bond.
So, Judge, I am asking for a personal bond in this case. This is charged as a misdemeanor, where he's accused of assaulting his child's mother.
Damn it.
She had no injuries. Medics were not called for her. However, the officers did write that they noticed a large laceration, which we can see here on his forehead.
Oh.
So, Your Honor, I just think that there's more to what occurred than what's in the report.
Bust him upside the head.
In addition to that, he is working 2 jobs. He's working at Chili's and Red Lobster. Does fall within 200% guidelines. Our understanding is that he has no prior criminal record at all and nothing going on
Chili's
now.
and Red
I would ask
Lobster.
for a personal bond in this case. He's 28 years old with no other contacts with law enforcement. And he does understand he has to stay away from the complainant. And it does not appear that they live together.
What about Wingfellas?
Yeah, does he have a third job? Seriously, why is he wearing that T-shirt? It looks
Bond will
like-
be
Chili's
set
and
at
Red Lobster.
$100,000 personal. However, before leaving the jail, defendant must be fitted with a GPS tether. That tether allowing work and work only. I am quite concerned that there are purportedly witnesses to what occurred here, and they do not describe the defendant as being the recipient of an assault, but rather the aggressor. So I am, given his lack of prior history, I will allow him out on a personal bond, but he will be fitted with a GPS tether, that tether allowing him to go to work and to work only. There is to be no contact with the complainant, no contact with the address where this is alleged, with the location where this is alleged to have occurred. And Mr. Boyston is not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of his bond. The next court date will be a pretrial, June 11th, 8:30 a.m. in front of Judge Garrett. Thank you.
Sounds like a lot going on there. Well, we'll just wait and see. Maybe he did get busted upside the head. But it could have been self-defense.
That
Busted.
could have been.
Anything's possible.
It's interesting when they do point that out. There's always 3 different stories to everything that happened.
Yeah. One, their side, your side, and the truth. Yeah. How'd y'all like that? That was pretty tight.
Yeah, the Red Lobster story is pretty interesting, filing for what they have, bankruptcy, and blaming it on the shrimp or the all-you-can-eat shit.
Okay, one moment, please.
We not
This is a very small feller.
small.
SML.
What's your name?
Christopher Brown.
Chris Brown, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Okay, People versus Christopher Brown, counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava
Sorry.
on behalf of Mr. Brown, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
No.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. This is a CCW with no priors. Objection to $5,000 personal bond.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. $5,000 personal bond. Sir, you're not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond. Next court date, probable cause conference, June 11th, 8:30 a.m. in front of Judge Robbins. After that, preliminary examination
Awesome.
set for June 18th at 8:45 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah. It was good to hear he didn't go crazy or nothing.
Yeah. No pew-pews involved. No
Yeah.
hitting other women.
Don't forget, we got a premiere happening over on Credence and Mikey today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss it.
Jadis, Darbion Spencer.
Yeah, I believe
Okay,
that.
Mr. Spencer, People versus Spencer, counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Spencer, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Hey, yeah, beautiful.
Counsel, the court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Charge here is CCW with no priors. Bond will be $5,000 personal. Mr. Spencer, you're not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond. Any objection to that bond, counsel?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next court dates, June 11th, 8:30 a.m. for probable cause conference, June 18th, 8:45 a.m. for preliminary examination. The first one will be in front of Judge Robbins on the 11th. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Everybody's got a pew pew though. I will say that. At least they're not using them. All these CCWs.
Good point.
They're keeping them put away. Maybe they're unloaded.
Charles Winston Martin Jr.
No, his first rodeo.
Mr. Martin, good afternoon. People versus Charles Martin, counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Martin, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Mr. Martin, you got a habeas bond because you missed your last court date. Luckily for you, you've got a pretty good judge. all right, that said, okay, you can keep a personal bond. A pretty understanding judge, at least. All right. So your bond is going to be set at $10,000 personal according to what she ordered. Don't miss your court date again so that you don't end up getting locked up for not showing up for court. Okay. 10,000 personal. Next court date, June 10th for probable cause conference, 8:30 a.m.
You must miss what time he'd be back.
5 a.m. for preliminary examination. They're both in front of Judge Sabri.
You better bring her some chocolates.
Where do I go in court?
You'll get paperwork. It'll be by Zoom, but you'll get the paperwork so that you know where to appear, okay? And if you can't get on by Zoom, you can come in person. Okay, all right.
Step back in the room. Come on. Stand on the black line. Come on. Stand on the black
Oh
line.
my goodness.
Darren Gibson.
Thought he had a mask on there for a second.
Hey, Mr. Gibson, good afternoon.
Aha, it's me.
Good afternoon.
People versus Darren Gibson, counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Gibson, who has been advised of his right, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Thank you, counsel. The court knows formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Mr.
the
Gibson,
right one?
I'm telling you, just like the end just before you who missed court, you missed court. But Judge
missed
Sabri gave you a personal bond on your capias. Don't miss court again because you might get a cash bond just for missing court, all right? Today, it's $5,000 personal. Next court date, probable cause
I don't know.
conference, June 10th, 8:30 a.m. Preliminary examination, June 17th, 8:45 a.m. Both in front of Judge Sabri. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I mean, his hair is jet black.
Sure is.
I mean, I don't see a single gray in it.
Yep, step back in the room.
Damn it, Bill. I don't know. I don't. If you're going to dye your hair, you dye your beard too.
Right. I would think.
Good morning, Brother Carter.
Maybe dyes his beard
Good
gray.
morning, Mr. Carter. People versus Brandon Carter, counsel.
Good morning, or good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Carter, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. This case involves Mr. Carter allegedly running from the police at a traffic stop where he was the passenger, I believe. I think that's the key, the facts on this
He was
one.
passenger. It's fine.
Yep. I'm inclined to a $2,000 personal bond unless there's some objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next court date is going to be June 12th, 8:30 a.m. Probable cause conference, June 18th, 8:45 a.m. Preliminary examination, both in front of Judge Sabri. Again, the bond is $2,000 personal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, so for Mr.
Oh,
Gibson,
jeez.
I thought he had two cases. He had the one that you had the personal, and then he had one from Judge Bryant.
Phil with a-
habeas too
Phil with a jump scare then.
for
I know.
1,000%.
Okay.
It was the
Kenya.
it's not domestic violence.
Oh, so he'll just sit till tomorrow, and then you'll do that case. We're not
As a
doing-
passenger,
so we're
though.
gonna just sit him another
Keep
day.
that in mind.
Reagan, it's the terms of the contract. We don't have any control over the terms of the contract. We're not authorized to do everything over the weekends. If I could, I would. but, you know,
Oh, it's not your fault, Your Honor, at all. I know. I just hate that. Okay, thank you.
He loves that Bo Derek movie 10.
Okay, name please.
Tremaine Harris.
All right, thank you.
Amy, I think down below that there's a link also, isn't there?
Yeah, use the words.
For
I
that
can
link
take that
tree,
one.
right? Isn't link tree in the
Yeah,
was
it's
in
on
there?
there too. Yeah,
get
but you
the-
can just do $. We got a. We got a.
dollar sign, you know.
All right, People versus Tremaine Harris. This is a PPO violation, counsel.
Judge, my understanding is that our contract doesn't allow us to handle the PPO cases.
Okay, one moment while I review the file, please.
Come on, man. Jump scares everywhere. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right. So, in case there's no one here over the age of 40, and don't get my reference to Bo Derek in the movie 10
Yep.
and him being a huge fan.
Ah, I see the hair. I was looking at other places there for a second. I see the
Looks
hair.
like
now,
this
though.
is purely a dispute over parenting time. There was a PPO in place, but there's no allegation that the PPO was violated in terms of any assaultive contact, that simply there was an entrance onto an area where you weren't supposed to be, like over a dispute of trying to get some parenting time. For that reason, while I normally would remand in a PPO violation case, I will not remand
Boston.
you. I will give you a personal bond. However, your next court date is going to be tomorrow at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Kelly at KMAC, okay? Judge Kelly. So 9 a.m., you need to make sure you're there. I'll give you a personal bond here in the amount of $50,000. Just make sure you get to your court date. PPO remains in effect. There is to be no contact with the complainant until a judge says otherwise. No contact, no attempted contact. They'll be back in court tomorrow morning. Ask the judge about the no contact provision when you go to court tomorrow morning in terms of parenting time and exchanges. All right? Thank you. Okay.
Oh boy.
Did he watch it alone by any chance?
Did he tell you to cut off the lights and don't come knocking on his door?
Turn your TV up real loud.
Mr. Ragland. Okay, thank you. People versus Andre Ragland, counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Ragland, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived. Enters a not guilty plea on Mr. Ragland's behalf. This is a CCW with no priors. Bond will be $5,000 personal. Mr. Ragland, you are not to purchase or possess any firearms or other dangerous weapons during the course of your bond. Any objection to that bond or the conditions, counsel?
No objection.
Thank you. Next court date will be June 11th.
Yeah,
8:30
beautiful
a.m.
eyes.
In front of Judge Robbins for probable cause conference. After that, preliminary examination, June 18th.
Good to see
8:45
daylight.
p.m. Thank you.
Can you imagine the amount of pew-pews Detroit collects in a year from these people that are picking up with CCWs?
For real. I mean, you can't just, I don't think that you can just get rid of them because.
I mean, I know some places sell them, some places melt them down or whatever, but I don't know what Detroit's doing with them, but they've got to have a arsenal.
They move them. Listen, big city stuff, man. They move them through. No doubt about that. Even the big ones. I mean, even.
All right, Mr. Hollis. People versus Omarion Hollis.
Hollis
Counsel.
Queens.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Hollis, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Thank you, counsel. The court notes formal reading has been waived and enters a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. Argument is to bond.
Judge, so understanding the seriousness of the charges, but also considering some other facts, I am going to ask for a high personal bond in this case. No objection to a GPS tether or house arrest. If Your Honor is not willing to consider personal, I would ask for a 10% bond and allow him to go to work only. So Mr. Hollis is 19 years old. He's 19 years old. He's currently working at Cousin's recording studio, Mind Vision. Now, so Your Honor,
Recording studio.
I think there are issues with identification in this. The complainant states that the person who shot him was wearing a mask, so he didn't get a clear vision of his face. The police pick up Mr. Hollis because he had been arrested in that area before and had locks. Somebody with locks was a part of the description, and the complainant identifies him in a lineup, and I don't know what that lineup looks like, but the complainant was pretty clear that he hadn't seen the person's face due to there being a mask. So, Judge, I don't know how far this case is going to go with Mr. Hollis. My understanding is he has no assaultive criminal record. It is a lifelong resident, so I do not believe he's a risk of flight. I think he's currently on probation, so it shows that he knows how to show up to court. He took a case all the way at least until probation and seems to be in compliance with probation. So I am asking if this court considered a high personal bond, if not a high personal, at least a 10% bond, not objecting to a tether provision, just allowing him to go to work.
Yeah. All right. I have to agree with you that the, identification issues in this case are frightening. If I was Mr. Hollis, he needs a good cell phone expert, sounds like, and a good identification expert to work his case.
What about him and the locks?
It's concerning. Bond is set at $100,000, 10%. If he's able to make the bond, GPS tether with full home confinement, unless the judge says otherwise. No contact with the complainant. And no contact with the address where this is alleged to have occurred.
34 months.
This is an OG call.
Hearing Tuesday, June the 4th.
Two away
Judge
from
Williams
3 years.
may have more to say about this. June 4th,
That's crazy.
9 a.m. Probable cause conference, June 10th at 8:30 a.m. Preliminary examination, June 17th at 8:45 a.m. Both in front of Judge Giles. This is much lower than the bond I would normally set in a case like this, but I agree with you, counsel, that there appear to be some pretty significant possible identification issues here. And so I'm going to try to give Mr. Hollis some benefit of the doubt.
If he was wearing a mask
and
he had locks.
Just because he was arrested in that area before
Thank
and then
you.
arrested.
And
Okay,
this
pause
is
this real fast.
Yeah.
So this case we're about to go into right now, this guy needed an interpreter.
Okay.
So instead of us sitting through the entire hearing him interpret, I went through and cut out all the interpreter parts, and we just get the case.
All right.
But just be aware that he needs an interpreter, and that's what that guy is down there.
Becky, I've got one count of home invasion in the first degree, one count of assault with intent to commit sexual penetration, CSC.
Yikes.
Are you going to testify from personal knowledge or investigator's report?
Both, ma'am.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand, swear or affirm that everything you're going to tell me is the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Please go ahead with your testimony.
Yes, ma'am. On May 31st at approximately 1:45 in the morning, Dearborn police officers Kamar Eldon, Schneider, and Farnham responded to 315 Monroe on report of a female crying. Officer Kamar Eldon arrived first on scene and was met by the victim, Elif Belova, who ran up to his patrol car. Ms. Belova lives at 315 Monroe, apartment number 32, along with 3 other subjects. Belova, however, was home alone when this incident occurred. Belova stated she has her own bedroom inside of this apartment and is her own personal private space. Belova stated around 1:45 on May 31st, she was alone in her bedroom lying on her bed. She advised that the main apartment door was closed but unlocked, and her bedroom door was also closed but unlocked. Mr. Savisi entered the closed apartment door and then entered Belova's bedroom by opening the unlocked door. Mr. Savisi did not have permission to enter the apartment or Belova's bedroom and had not been invited over. Belova said that Savisi approached her and then laid on top of her while she was still in the bed. Savisi then proceeded to grope Belova's thigh over her clothing. Belova reported that when Savisi was on top of her, he stated, "There are no other women around us. You have to make us happy." Belova was able to scream and push Mr. Savisi off of her and stop the assault. A few minutes later, Belova stated that Savisi's roommate, Salim Yildiz, entered the bedroom and physically removed Savisi from the apartment. Belova then called police for assistance. Belova said that Savisi was in her bedroom for approximately 1 to 2 minutes before Mr. Yildiz's arrival. Officer Kamar Eldon and Schneider also made contact with Mr. Salim Yildiz and took a statement from him. Yildiz stated that he was outside of his apartment building, 1320 Porter, smoking when he observed Mr. Savisi walk outside. Yildiz was aware that Mr. Savisi was intoxicated and he was concerned seeing him leave the area on foot. Yildiz stated he did not want Mr. Savisi to do anything crazy, so he followed him. Yildiz followed Savisi from their apartment building to the adjoining apartment building where Bolova lives, is 1315 Monroe. Yildiz entered the apartment building shortly after Sabisi and found him in Bolova's bedroom. Yildiz said he did not observe what happened in the bedroom and had arrived after whatever had occurred. After Yildiz had found Mr. Sabisi in Bolova's bedroom, he grabbed a hold of him and physically removed him from the apartment building.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's
some bad stuff.
That is.
Anything further?
No, ma'am.
Loatica.
All right. Thank
Just in time.
Yeah, those are some strong allegations. Yeah,
they really are.
I do find probable cause to support the charges. Signing. We'll move to the arraignment portion. To our interpreter, you may begin interpreting now, please. Please begin your interpreting now. People versus Khan Sebeki. Mr. Sebeki, please state your name for the record.
Mr. Khan.
Cebeci isminizi
We're going to get this part.
söyleyebilir misiniz? Tam isminizi.
Name Khan, surname Cebeci.
First
Thank
name
you.
Khan, last name Cebeci.
Tech Troublemaker.
Good to see you.
Appearance, counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kashava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Jabechi, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and wait the formal reading.
The court notes formal reading has been waived and enters a not guilty plea on Mr. Sebeki's behalf. Arguments as to bond, please.
So, Judge, understanding the seriousness of the crime that is alleged, but also considering Mr. Jabeki's finances, I'm requesting a personal bond with a tether.
Pardon, dediğiniz şey mi?
Mr.
Ücretli mi?
Please don't make any statements.
Şimdilik siz hiçbir şey konuşmamalısınız.
Okay.
Mr. Jabeki lives in a building near the complainant. They do not live together or in the same building.
It's still terrifying being close.
Yeah.
It sounds like alcohol will also play a role in these allegations. So I'm requesting a tether. He lives in such close proximity to the complainant.
Kirkland frame.
But I am asking for a personal bond because the amount of bond he can afford to pay. If the court is not inclined to allow him home, I would ask for no tether. He does understand he cannot have.
That's them, not us.
My concern with the tether is that the defendant purportedly has no memory of any of this, according to the investigator's report, due to his own level of intoxication. For a tether to work, the person wearing it must be willing and able to comply with the conditions attached to it. Given the identification made by the complainant, who was well known to the defendant, and the witness identification, that witness having intervened as this was occurring, this court does believe that this incident did occur, that there is credible evidence that it did occur. Given the complete lack of memory on defendant's part, I do not believe that he would be able to bring his behavior in compliance with tether restrictions. Home invasion first, which is charged here, is one of the most serious felonies that we have in this state. Out of concern for the complainant and the community in general, I am imposing a cash bond here. Bond is set at $50,000 cash sure.
Cash is good.
Defendant is able to make that bond, he must be first fitted with a GPS tether, which will require full home confinement. He must also be fitted with an alcohol tether. There is to be no contact or attempted contact with the complainant, even through third parties. There is also to be no contact with the address where she resides and where this is alleged to have occurred. The next court dates are a probable cause conference, June the 11th at 9 a.m. After that, preliminary examination is scheduled for June 18th at 9. Counsel, anything further?
No, Your Honor, thank
50.000
Counsel.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
How
to our
about the-
interpreter.
Him
Right.
breaking in
Yes.
is the largest of
If I
the
may, Mr.
charges.
Ceviche and the victim are both employed at the same location. It's Galata Suites, 1035 Mason in the city of Dearborn. I would also request no return to that location as well.
That is added as a condition. There will be no return to that location.
You lost your job, bud. Yeah.
rightfully so at that point, if that is true.
I mean, he can't go to where she, he lives near her. He's going to wear 2 tethers, one for GPS and one for alcohol.
Good God. Yeah, that part of it's kind of important there as well.
A very rough day of cases, but you know what?
Yeah.
We don't make them. We just watch them.
That's right. Don't forget at 5:30. Of course, we got at 405 East. We got a chase, and then 5:30 we got members only for we got a chase channel.
Yeah, and we got a premiere coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern on Credence and Mikey on YouTube, as well as one coming up at probably 5 o'clock over on We Got a Case. So make sure you check that out. And we appreciate all the new people, everybody watching the shorts and stuff that have been going up over the weekend. Really, really appreciate it.
And also appreciate the support of the channel and for us doing this. Always appreciate that. The Detroit Dono Express, Bruno, Bye, number one, Chrissy, and Own Gifter, and KC. Thank you guys a bunch. And my God, 34 months loud.
I know, that's crazy, right?
What do you think? That's 12, 24, 36. That is
almost 3 years. Yeah.
Which is
remarkable.
Yeah, we did, man. Detroit, a whole different world there when you get into the big city stuff. You start looking at, we go from places like Licking where it could be a whole line of 20 people with, not dog licenses, and then to go to the real city stuff.
It's like a war zone out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Gotta be careful. Make sure you love the ones you love. Tell them every day, Creed. And also like videos. That's right. That's the most important thing. Liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing. If you haven't done that already, we'd appreciate if you do it now. Once you stay safe, stay hard, stay tuned until the next video. We'll see you then.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
All right.
I forgot. I didn't even hear the horn go off because meh, 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 meh.
That's true. I didn't even see it. But we'll catch up on Chase.
You'll be first on the monorail, I promise.
Hey, we thank you.
Guys in truck, you're fired.
That's right.